Oh, shit. Oh, shit, it's working. Is this right? Oh, hell yeah. Okay, cool. All right. So it's working. Damn. Okay, now I gotta think about how I want to do this. So we need to go here. Oh shit, dude, this is bad news. Okay, I'm gonna change this to test stream. Don't talk to me. We'll set this as this. Done. Okay. And now, let's call this like, what's poppin', G? Hello, hello, hi. This is a test stream, so I'm just testing some tech on my end of things. But don't worry. Did you just wake up? Do I look like I just woke up? What an insult. Yes. Okay, I did. Okay. Let's save this. Okay. This is kind of interesting. How did I used to do this? I used a thing called... What was my duo stream thing? Was it Restream? Oh, it was Restream. I did the free Restream. Okay. We're getting somewhere. You look like you got the worst sleep, though. No, if you look shitty, it's because you got the best sleep. So, all right. Calm down. Okay, so does my chat show up here? It does. This is interesting. Do you remember me? Of course I remember you. Of course I remember you. The classic marble days, baby. Things have changed. I've changed. I've grown as a man. We're just getting started today. I'm testing out a new feature. Well, not feature. I guess it's a plugin that I installed for my OBS, aka my streaming software. So, if you're currently watching me on Twitch, which I'm sure all of you are, because that's where I generally hang out, I am also simultaneously live on YouTube.com. So my voice is being broadcast to too many corners of the internet, which I accept. This is called attention-seeking behavior, and it's bad. This is a bad sign for my mental health. But here we are. Zep, hello. This is a lie, Ducky. I can never sleep, and I always look like shit. Oh, really? That sounds like a you problem, man. So I have 2 dashboards to pay attention to now, and 2 chats. So right now, my Twitch chat shows up live here, but I could do a few things. So let me do pop out chat. Got it. And then I can do pop out chat. Boom. And then, in theory, I can just say fuck you to these things. And then close all of this shit. Probably close this. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's happening. What all of you have been desperately waiting for. The dual stream. Okay, so I can move this out of the way, I think. Oh, I should close my shit. And now, if I go studio, go main, boom. Oh, wait, no, this is not right. I want this to be display 1. Transition. And then turn off studio. I could even hide the chat here. I think that's fine. And then I've got Twitch chat, YouTube chat, and of course, my shit. I need to make sure that this doesn't leak my name. This is probably fine, right? Yeah, this is fine. My master research document is busted out again today, ladies and gentlemen. And, you know, oh, Zep. What is this? This can't possibly be real. Is this a meme? Is this a picture? What? Okay, it works, I think. I think he's trolling me. I'm glad you found my YouTube. Actually, I think I have it linked, but I don't give a fuck. I'm not using my YouTube. I just figure I should try it, okay? See what happens. So today, here's what I want to do. All right. Listen, I'm going to leave in like 20 minutes. All right. This is going to be brief. You streaming on Reddit too? Maybe Mixer on top of it? I wish, man. I should maximize my audience potential. But here's the deal. I saw a video drop. I want to watch it. And I want to like really research this. So for many of, I'm sure so many of you have heard about like the lab leak hypothesis here about COVID, right? People talk about how it was made in a lab and spread and all this shit. And I've read a little bit about this, okay? So I know it's kind of bullshit. I know that at the beginning of things, they like actually thought it was potentially real, and then they did like this massive research thing into it and found that it likely wasn't. It's still a potential reality of the origins of COVID, right? But it's almost certainly not. And there are people around me in my life who might so happen to believe that it started in a lab, which is fine, I think. But here's the truth, okay? I think they believe that because certain political commentators say so. And as we all know, we shouldn't just take at face value what people with political motives have to say. So we're going to do a little bit of digging. I bust out the Ducky Master Research document. I haven't touched this bad boy in a minute, but I want to talk about the lab leak hypothesis. I want to watch this video. This is made by a guy called Potholer. He's been on YouTube for like 15 years, as long as the platform's been real. Super smart guy, and he's a science journalist, like a science educator, basically. So he knows his shit. He's definitely not like a PhD. He's not like a scientist, but he's a communicator of scientific research. He knows his shit. So we're going to learn a few things today. I'm going to take a few notes so that I can be better prepared to have these conversations with people in my real life and potentially on the internet if I can yell at people about lab leak. That would be actually hella fun. Oh, there's a fire in the Gulf of Mexico. Yeah, actually, I want to touch on that briefly. That's a good point. This is interesting to me. There are a lot of people. Okay, so fire in Gulf of Mexico. So there was an oil well, a burst pipeline, lit fire, and the Gulf of Mexico was on fire. Very shocking to see water burning. Okay, not a great thing. But a lot of people on Twitter decided that this was because of capitalism, okay? Which is hilariously stupid, considering this was a state-owned, a public, you might say socialist-owned well. So, like, these sorts of things don't change under your economic production mode, which is bizarre that they would be making this claim. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely a tragedy. This sucks ass. You hate to see it. It's real bad, but people are going on about capitalism. It's like, okay, dude, tell me more. Anyway, real bad. The video was shocking. I mean, it looked straight out of, it looked like a portal to hell. Let's see if I can find the original video. Oh, also there's another building in Florida that's like prone to collapsing, and they're like evacuating people. It's bizarre. And this all comes after Rob DeSantis is dropping regulation after regulation. Anyway, whatever, dude. Bro, look at that shit. Actually unbelievable. It straight up looks like a portal to hell, man. Hell on earth. I mean, come on. That's shocking. It's no wonder people are losing their minds. I mean, not great. Definitely not great. Okay. I want to watch this now, I think. What is this? The Nether is coming. As literally ghasts are going to start flying out of there.
A lot of people have been telling me that my video on some of the lab origin myths.
Oh, he already did one. Okay. I think I may have already seen this, but Scorpion is real? Wait, what the fuck is... I've seen Pacific Rim. This shit is terrifying. That's true, dude. Someone's gonna jump up out of there. Oh, no! Okay. We're gonna do a few things. From Mortal Kombat. Pigeon! Is the title ironic? I'm confused. Oh, yeah, I forgot. I was testing something earlier. Hold on. I have to bring up my Twitch dashboard. Brief. How do you spell brief? Brief research stream. I'm sorry for this. Done. Okay. So we're gonna watch Potholer's video. It's gonna be a banger, in my opinion. I'm gonna love this shit. If you hate it, I deeply apologize. But you know what? This is what this stream's all about, baby. Doing shit that I like. So let's watch.
A lot of people have been telling me.
Oh, what's up, Luke? Yeah, we're double streaming. I figured I'd try it out. I just downloaded a plugin. That was the tech I was working on. So I didn't see you though. I want to like set this up where I can see both Twitch or both chats clearer. This might be fine for now. Speaking of COVID conspiracy theories, my uncle is anti-vaxxer, and my friend's whole family believe in shit like they're gonna turn the internet off in 3 weeks. I don't see. Okay, it's really hard to like be, oh, their opinions are valid. You know, I feel quite shitty hearing people talk about that stuff because it's so clearly insane. But at the same time, I think it's good to be like well prepared to have those kinds of conversations with people instead of just being like, you're a fucking idiot, which, you know, true. But we need to like know why they're stupid. So my goal today, at least, instead of being like anti, you know, we could talk about vaccinations all day about how it's not a problem, but I just want to talk about this lab leak hypothesis because I think a growing number of conservatives believe it. Opinions are like belly buttons. Everyone's got one, but no one wants to see yours or something. Some are hairy and should only be seen by a few. Well, my opinions are like my belly button. No shame, and they're for everyone. My belly button is your belly button. Okay, listen, I just want to talk about lab leak shit because this is what matters right now. And by that, I mean there's someone in my life personally who believes this shit, and I want to absolutely obliterate them with facts and logic. Okay, let's begin. This is for me, All right. And if you would like to be smart about this stuff, please come along for the ride.
On some of the lab origin myths about SARS-CoV-2 was wrong and out of date, and there were lots of milk comparisons. As always, I'm happy to issue corrections if an error is brought to my attention. So I made the same request to each of them. If you think there are errors in the video, please quote what I said. If you think there are errors in the video, please quote what I said and explain why you think it's wrong. Only one person did find an error, which of course I immediately added to the corrections section of the video description. But all the other supposed errors were either just opinions and expressions of disapproval, a belief that the published science is wrong, a few predictable insults, one person didn't like the title, or I got no response at all. The funniest response I got is one which I think I'll have framed. Just because this clip didn't have any errors doesn't mean it's not confused. To those who haven't seen the video, I looked at various claims that were going viral at the time, like the mysterious intern who supposedly had been infected in a Wuhan lab. That one went all the way up to a White House press briefing.
An intern was infected, who later infected her boyfriend, and then went to the wet market in Wuhan, where it began to spread.
When I fact-checked that, it turned out to be based on a YouTube video claiming to have found the source of the coronavirus. There was no evidence presented, except that the intern had no photo on one of the lab's website pages. That video, which got over 2 million hits, was also the source of other widespread myths. I showed how it had mixed up two different research institutes and was at the end of a trail of misquotes and deliberate misrepresentations that started with a Chinese professor, Xiao Butao. My video also looked at spurious claims that the virus could have leaked because it was being held in a freezer with an alleged broken seal. I showed that a supposed secret leaked dossier was in fact just a compilation of information that was freely available on the internet. And I showed how researchers had discovered that SARS-CoV-2 has a unique and counterintuitive backbone, which is consistent with a natural origin, not bioengineering.
I feel like I need to watch this original video then, because this is what I want to write about. This is what I want to know. But he's just like blanket statement like, oh, it is what it is.
But people seem to have mixed up the issue of a man-made virus with the possibility of a natural virus escaping from the lab. These are two different things. Here's what I said about the latter. After all, it's possible someone might have come into contact with bat samples and not noticed. According to the Washington Post, officials from the US Embassy in Beijing visited the Wuhan Institute of Virology a few years ago and were concerned about safety standards there. According to the Post, the Chinese researchers at WIV were receiving assistance from the Galveston National Laboratory, but the Chinese requested additional help. The cables argued that the United States should give the Wuhan lab further support, mainly because its research on bat coronaviruses was important, but also dangerous. I haven't seen anything that changes any of that. The myths are still busted. The paper I cited has gone on to be cited by over 3,000 other research papers, and the possibility of a lab leak remains. So what has happened that's caused this sudden flurry of interest? Well, firstly, a report published in the Wall Street Journal cited anonymous sources in the US State Department based on the assessment of an unidentified international partner that 3 people had got sick at a lab in Wuhan in November 2019 and gone to hospital. Some media outlets, including the Daily Mail of course, claimed for a fact that this was COVID-19. But the fact is, we don't know, as the Wall Street Journal makes clear further down the story. Look, I know in this day and age we're all supposed to pick a side and have a definitive opinion, but I'm not saying the story isn't true. I'm not saying they didn't have COVID. I'm just saying I have no idea. So, like so much of this new information, I find it pointless to speculate, let alone reach a conclusion based on that speculation. The other thing that happened was that the US president has asked the intelligence services to redouble their efforts into finding the origin of the virus after previous investigations were inconclusive. Again, all this shows is that a lab leak is possible. It tells us no more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing that's really frustrating to me is of all of the stuff we hear about with the lab leak is just that, right? Like there's a percentage chance. It's a non-zero chance that it escaped from a lab, but not that it was like man-made even, which that's a fair distinction. I wonder, I'm the way that I understand the person that I was talking to about this was that they thought that it was concocted in a lab, that it was made, which is even worse. So I feel like I definitely need to watch that first one. What?
What else happened? Well, there's been a WHO report into the origin of the virus, but that was compromised by delays in allowing investigators into China and alleged obstruction by the Chinese authorities in granting full access and complete transparency. Does that mean there's a cover-up? Is this typical Chinese government secrecy? Or is it resentment of what they see as a foreign interference? Again, I have no idea. It doesn't mean a lab leak happened, or that it didn't happen, only that it's possible. So let's get on to the science, and the other hypothesis, that the virus is man-made. The problem, as I explained in my video, is that researchers have found that the virus shows all the hallmarks of being natural. Not just the spike protein, which is often manipulated in gain-of-function experiments because it's the infectious part of the virus, but also the delivery system known as the backbone. So, has there been anything new on that front?
I need to watch this first one. I need to know about these fucking spike proteins, dog.
Well, yes.
What up, Khan?
There was a hypothesis put forward by Sigreto and Dagin that the virus could be man-made.
Okay, we gotta find... Okay. I just want to pull it up for future reference. Man-made lab leak. Lockdown. Fact-checking claim... What is this? Fact-checking claims about lockdown. Internet myths about PCR testing. Another side effect of COVID-19 stupidity. That's a great title. Oh, is this it? This must be it. Oh, these two would actually be so interesting. Fuck. I was just going to do a quick one so I could go to my party. There's so much good shit here. God, this guy's YouTube channel's clutch. I'm so excited. I just joined a youth wing of a political party. Fuck yeah, dude. Rise up. Rise up, youth. Power to the people, baby. Fuck yeah, dude. I love it. That's what democracy's all about. Getting involved. Hell yeah. Dude, I'm actually so stoked on that. Fuck yeah. That's sick as hell. You absolutely love to see it, ladies and gentlemen. I'll just say that. Hold on. Let's listen to my stream. President Khan, imagine me in power. I don't think I could ever imagine that, but okay. This is kind of interesting. Okay, cool. Oh, right. Never mind. Fuck. I actually need to try a few things. That's fine. We'll go back to this.
After the long day of work,
Jesus.
Kanye West goes to
Stop!
Kanye Nest to take his Kanye rest.
True.
He wakes up feeling his Kanye best.
Yeah, dude.
Then he'll get Kanye dressed on his Kanye vest to go on a Kanye quest. He
Good.
goes to church and becomes Kanye blessed.
Yep.
Then to a hotel room to be a Kanye guest.
Yep.
Then to school to take his Kanye test.
Sick, dude.
He forgot to brush his teeth. Did he run out of Kanye crest?
Maybe.
His neighbor stole it. What a Kanye pest.
True.
He then puts on some axe for some Kanye zest and goes to the bar puffing out his chest. Gets drunk.
Not
into
his
a
Kanye chest?
And goes home to
Fuck.
the Kanye West part of town. He realized his life was a wreck, and was feeling a little Kanye depressed.
Yep.
My life sucks, Kanye digressed. He decided to get some Italian tea. He flew to Kanye Trieste.
What?
He got some pasta and started to Kanye digest.
Nice.
You should get some Kanye rest. His wife Kanye pressed.
True.
Instead, he
Which
went
wife?
to a Kanye fest. He then realized he needed to go to Dallas for his competition.
Mm-hmm.
So he went to the airport and hopped on Kanye Southwest, got some Kanye rest, and the next morning was feeling ready for his Kanye contest.
Good.
Or at least he Kanye guessed.
Uh-oh.
On the day of the competition, he was feeling a little Kanye stressed.
I've been there, brother. God, that's good, man. I'm so glad that you shared that with me. Thank you.
Because the fusion cleavage site in the SARS-CoV-2 virus could not have evolved naturally.
That's so much work. I don't know if you write these or if you just copy paste, but holy hell, man.
As for the backbone problem, they argue that the Wuhan lab researchers could have used the backbone of an existing virus, RATG13, because that's genetically very close to SARS-CoV-2, and deliberately evolved it in the lab. The hypothesis has been laid out in 2 papers, but both lines of argument have been contradicted by other research. This paper shows that a similar furin cleavage site does occur in a natural virus, and another paper shows the method by which this can happen. On the second argument, a response paper to Segreto and Dagin pointed out that there's about a 4% genetic difference between RATG13 and SARS-CoV-2. That may not sound like much, but there's only a 1% difference between humans and chimpanzees. Virologists have concluded that SARS-CoV-2 and RATG13 last had a common ancestor in about 1948.
Yikes.
The 2 viruses are so far apart genetically that changing one into the other would cost a huge amount of money, time and effort, if it could be done at all. It would also have been completely unnecessary, since backbones are readily available on
Looking
the
pretty
shelf.
sus.
I'll be looking at that in more detail in my next video on popular claims by the journalist Nicholas Wade. For those reasons, the Segreto and Dagin hypothesis hasn't been widely adopted or cited, in contrast to the Nature Medicine study that's been cited over 3,000 times and is consistent with other research. The other new development was an explosive new study by Sorensen et al., a journal article set to make waves among the scientific community. I was first alerted to it by a post on my forum. More evidence mounts as we debunk the debunker. The debunker's supposed to be me, by the way. According to the poster, this explosive new study shows that the virus is man-made. But it's never a good sign when the source of your information isn't the journal itself, it's the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail says the study was about to be published in the Quarterly Review of Biophysics Discovery, QRB Discovery, which is a perfectly respectable peer-reviewed journal. And for some reason, the Daily Mail posted an embargoed copy of the paper on its website.
But in the end,
That's
the
right,
judges
wait,
were Kanye impressed. For his performance, he was awarded with the Kanye's chest.
True.
Clearly identified with the Kanye crest.
Damn.
There ends the story of Kanye West.
Wow.
Fin here.
Wow. I did not expect that. That was beautiful. What a beautiful ending to a beautiful tale.
Me as fishy, as I mentioned to someone else who asked me about this paper, because I often get embargoed papers sent.
I don't know who this is, but that's beautiful. Tazzy lol.
To me, it's very common in the media, and the whole point of an embargo is that it gives a journalist time to read the paper and write up the story. But a news organization isn't supposed to post the story until after the paper has been published. Here the Mail is not only posting a story prior to publication, it's posting a copy of the paper itself. I've never seen this happen, so it's quite bizarre. That aside, what's the evidence shown in the alleged paper? According to the Daily Mail, the authors found a fingerprint that shows the SARS-CoV-2 virus couldn't be natural because it has 4 positively charged amino acids in a row. It's rare to find even 3 in a row in naturally occurring organisms, while 4 in a row is extremely unlikely, the scientists said. The laws of physics mean that you cannot have 4 positively charged amino acids in a row. The only way you can get this is if you artificially manufacture it, Dalglish told DailyMail.com. But this was very easy to check. One of the posters on my forum said it didn't take him long to find several instances of 4 positively charged amino acids in a row in naturally occurring viruses. I checked his sources, and I found them too. In 2 papers, I did a simple search for 4 positively charged amino acids and came up with several results. So much for the supposed law of physics. So why would a reputable peer-reviewed journal like the QRB Discovery be willing to publish such obvious twaddle?
They didn't.
Answer? You're ahead of me. Of course it wasn't. The Daily Mail's claim that this study was about to be published in that journal, or any journal,
Got
was
'em.
nonsense. They simply took the author's word for it without bothering to check with the journal's editor. Once it became clear a few weeks later that this imminent publication wasn't happening, the Daily Mail removed the name of the journal from the story. But the damage had already been done. Hundreds of news sites, blogs and fora had reprinted the Daily Mail claim that this was a legitimate study about to be published in the QRB Discovery, again without bothering to check.
Damn, brutal.
Neither did they check the spurious evidence that you can't get 4 positively charged amino acids in a row, which is still up there on the Mail website. You have to go a long way down the Daily Mail story, past the photos and the clickbait, to discover that virologists dismiss this unpublished claim as magical and explain that this amino acid conjunction is often found in nature. Unfortunately, that glimpse of reality is in a box relaying how Potholer have been thwarted in previous publication efforts, not because their essay is bunk, but by a conspiracy of scientists to silence them.
Yikes.
Next, there was a claim that the lab leak theory had gained credibility because of a study by Piplani et al. I think what they mean is that the man-made virus theory had gained credibility since the study wasn't about a lab leak, it was about how well adapted SARS-CoV-2 is to human cells. The authors found that SARS-CoV-2 binds very tightly to human ACE2, the entry point for coronaviruses into the human body. Their conclusion is that if the virus is well adapted to human ACE2, it couldn't have jumped directly from bats to humans, so the authors looked at various candidates that might have acted as intermediate species, and although some looked promising, they couldn't find a perfect match. Which means we're back to where we started. The intermediate species still hasn't been found. We don't know.
Yo, Slooty Booty. Dude, it's been a minute. How you doing, baby? Welcome in.
And that vacuum of knowledge is what's been quickly...
We're learning today, so I don't think it's going to be a lit stream. I'm good. How are you? I'm great, baby. Doing great.
Speculation.
It's been a hot minute. I agree. Quite hot.
So
Too hot, you might say.
This affinity for human ACE2 is the result of deliberate manipulation in a lab.
Man's not hot.
Researchers have found that the virus seems to have evolved in the presence of a human immune system.
I'm sorry for screaming.
And the way
I went to West Virginia last weekend. West Virginia, dude. All I know about West Virginia is Joe Manchin is a senator there. Oh, and the Appalachian Mountains and, like, coal. I think coal is a thing there. It was for camping. I don't know what Fat Eddie's is. I'm assuming fast food. Hell yeah, dude. Camping's fun. I was going to go camping, like, 2 weekends ago, and then it just started torrential downpouring.
binds to ACE2, like so many other things in the SARS-CoV-2 virus, is a bit messy and counterintuitive.
Ice cream and food.
Designed it that way,
Sick.
but evolution frequently does. Finally, another thing that's new is that we've had the email from a senior researcher at the Scripps Institute saying that one really small part of the genome looks potentially engineered, but a team of researchers is going to look at it critically, and further analysis needs to be done, and they should know more by the end of the weekend. And it turned out that when they did look at it more critically, they discovered that the virus bore all the hallmarks of being natural. At least that's what the team, researchers from 5 different universities and scientific institutes from 3 different countries,
Damn.
did in Nature Medicine.
Dude, that's this article. Okay, that's the one you got to find. The Nature Medicine. This is the juice. Oh, wait, is this the one? Oh, probably this one. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Wait, where's that thing that he keeps showing? Like the genome or whatever the fuck. That's the juice that I want. This one. Stop. Fine, I'll take your cookies. This can't be right. Where's the one he's referencing? Dog. Whatever. Oh, it must be this one. And then he links it there, maybe. I'm not sure. I had to leave because I was in a car. What? Oh, how was your one debate like a week ago? Oh, it was good. Talked to another Twitch streamer who I disagreed with on like racial analysis of public policy. I mean, I think our goal wasn't to like convince one another. I think it was to make our point and make kind of convince our audiences that one of us was right. I didn't hear anything other than from like one person, and I feel like I did a good job of like not coming off as crazy, which is good. I think I came off as like convincing. So I'm happy with it. I feel like it went well. I want to do more of them though. Like I really, really enjoyed arguing with someone that I didn't know on the internet. That was like all I've ever wanted to do on Twitch. Honestly, that's like so fun for me. Don't worry, I always will support your ideas, even though you're kind of crazy. Hell yeah, baby. Listen, Sloot, we haven't had a conversation in a long time. I know the politics shit gets worn out or tired, but listen, I never wear out from it. It's truly entertaining. Maybe we'll bring you around to the right side of history yet again. It's been a while since a convo. Yeah, man. Listen, we're just trying to get to the bottom. We're trying to get to the truth, okay? So that's what we're doing here today. That's what we're always about here on the Ducky stream.
So, does this mean that the researcher's initial impression had to be correct, and that any change must therefore be the result of corruption and dishonesty? Or does it mean that initial impressions in science are often overturned as research continues and more evidence is found?
Right.
I can't claim to know the answer to that one either, so feel free to speculate on your own. All I can tell you is that I've been reporting on scientific research for over 3 decades, and I don't find such changes at all surprising. In fact, I've reported this on my channel before, when a rather crude estimate of past temperatures was improved as better data became available. That update led to howls of protest because the latest information didn't fit what a lot of people wanted to believe. The bottom line is that there are a lot of questions that we still don't have answers to. And
we're just talking about like the lab leak hypothesis. This is like so there's this idea that SARS-CoV-2 came from a lab in Wuhan, China. Whether it be through like malpractice and it got released, or they made it themselves. Basically, the whole idea is that it has non-natural origins, right? It's coming from something. I know someone in my life who believes this stuff, and when I saw this video come out this morning, I was very excited to watch it. It's really just a addendum on his original video, which I should probably watch as well. And he has several other like COVID-related videos. This guy's he's just a fantastic scientific what is it? Scientific communicator, science communicator. He's been a journalist for like 50 years. This guy's like top notch. I heard it was either a bat or this. Yeah. Well, the thing is, like, all the evidence right now points to it being a bat. Like coming from the wet markets in Wuhan or whatever. But there is a chance that it leaked from a lab, but that chance is like almost none right now with the evidence available to us. So it's just frustrating to me because I think the people who believe that it came from a lab have two motivations. One, they really want to oppose the narrative, the main narrative. So there's this idea specifically from the right in America, conservatives in the right, who their main goal right now is to oppose the mainstream, okay? They want to push back against mainstream. And the idea of it is like the media, they hate the media because it's mainstream. They hate science because it's mainstream. They hate, progressive social norms because they're mainstream. They want to push back against the left-leaning culture. And so what you see, at least in my perspective, is when there's a potential of malpractice from China rather than it being like a natural thing that their party failed to handle, what they want to be able to do is say, look, it was man-made, it was released from a lab, it's not because of... we want to put the blame not on ourselves, but on someone else. If we can take the blame off of ourselves and say it's China's fault, that's a pretty good thing. I mean, they'd be able to probably leverage a lot of political power from that. So that's their goal, right? And what's frustrating to me is this person who I talked to, they don't have any reason to believe that it came from a lab. There is no evidence that's suggesting so. It's very clear that the reason that they're doing this is because they have a political party who would benefit if it were true. So they just blanket statement accept that this came from a lab. Even though there's nothing to point to it being true. They just really need it to be true, and so they accept it as true. And that is I'll say it. It's despicable, okay? If you are so willing to throw away truth just so that your party can get political power, I'm sorry, fuck that. That is absolutely, that's despicable, okay? That's despicable. So I'm unwilling to accept that. I don't know. And if there's evidence that it came from China, fine. I accept that as well. But there's well, it did come from China. I'm sorry. If it came from a lab, I'm willing to accept that as true. I'm just not willing to accept it without evidence, which is that's this whole thing. That's why it's super frustrating to me. Okay, let's read. Hey, Ducky. I think it's spread due to carelessness. Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, it's spread in America due to carelessness, but admittedly, it's a super contagious virus. This is something that we would have had to deal with regardless of how quickly our governments acted. Now, that's not to absolve them from responsibility, because you look at places like South Korea, they locked down for like 2 weeks. They did the shit right away. Everybody followed suit. The government gave everybody money and food, and they just stayed in their homes for 2 weeks. Everybody emerged. They were COVID free. Okay, they did the thing. So it's not to say that like the government wasn't responsible, because clearly we could have done better. But yeah. Okay. Hi, Toolshed77. Just okay. Not bad. Do you think Trump used the origin of coronavirus as a way to utilize crisis in order to influence his likability in the polls? Well, he was on record saying that he knew the severity of COVID. People were telling him, they were in his ear saying, this is going to be a big deal. And his goal, his political goal, he was thinking about his likability and his reelection. And so his idea was, I don't want people to panic. If people start to panic, then it hurts my credibility as president. It hurts my success in the office. And he was on record saying, I'm going to downplay the virus so that people don't panic. So that happened, right? He ignored. And now, in terms of the origin, it's like I said, it's super important, I think, for Republicans to be able to point to someone else who's at fault. Because there's certainly a portion of these coronavirus deaths that could have been avoided had the government acted early. I mean, they sat on their ass for like 2 months before even doing anything. I mean, they did the China ban, which was obviously, I think it was like 2 weeks into things getting bad, which is, 2 weeks for the government, maybe that's not horrible. But then after that, they waited for like 2 months to ban travel from anywhere else, to do any kind of like meaningful lockdown stuff, to advocate for governors to start acting. So yeah, it would be in their political interest to say, it's not our fault, it's China's fault. They let it out, right? Ducky, are you familiar with UK political parties besides Labour and Conservative? None. Those are the two that I know. U.S. handled COVID very poorly. Yeah, I think they did handle COVID pretty poorly, and it was just because of they didn't want to look bad. It was a case of pride, I think. I think pride from our elected officials is what got us here, which is really sad. That's really disappointing. And largely why Joe Biden won in 2020, right? He won the election because Trump did a bad job. People can love him or hate him for his political positions or whatever, which I would argue are none other than owning the libs. But he objectively, our government did a bad job with COVID. So yeah, Ducky, you're a liberal, right? Are you a classic or modern liberal? Classical liberals, if I'm remembering correctly from our conversation, are totality of freedom. I would argue they're kind of libertarian-esque, whereas a modern liberal is they believe in a state. They believe in a strong level of like government power, regulation, whatever. In that sense, I would say that I'm a modern liberal, I imagine, right? So in the at least in the United States, I would define myself as a social democrat. Social welfare for modern. Yeah, exactly. So social democrat is someone who is a capitalist. They believe in democracy. They believe in some level of government regulation in terms of I'm not opposed to things like socialized medicine. I'm more in favor of something like a public option right now than something like a socialized medicine, but that could change. So like I'm not opposed to, government being involved in markets and regulating and fiscal stimulation and bada 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 bada. I like taxation. I think taxation's cool and based. So that's the truth. What is this? Did you send me something? Classical liberalism versus modern liberalism. Classical economic liberalism, social liberalism. Egotistical individualism, developmental individualism. Yeah, totally. 100%. Personal growth, maximal utility. Positive freedoms. I'm absolutely for positive freedoms. So for those of you who don't know, a positive freedom versus a negative freedom, this is something that's super important to understand. And this is like, I'd say, a large discrepancy in American politics and probably politics across like the world. This is the idea between positive and negative freedoms. A positive freedom is something that you advocate for, you enshrine in the state. A positive freedom is something that the state captures for its citizens, whereas a negative freedom is a lack of regulation, hands off, I am free to be myself, right? So in my view, a negative freedom could be I have the freedom to act freely, to do as I please, but what this could lead to is a negative freedom that results in real discrimination. If I am totally free to be myself, I am free to exclude black people from applying for jobs at my company. I am free to, to have a monopolistic corporation that kills market forces. I am free to destroy the environment. These are all things that with my negative freedom, I can do. A positive freedom, in my view, is something that that the state would capture for me. So it would say, well, it inhibits my freedom to discriminate against black Americans, right? But in doing so, it is positively giving freedom to people to not be discriminated against at their workplace, right? It is something that gives people actual access to living in society, which to me is much more important than this weird, vacuous, like philosophical idea of like liberty. I would much rather have a society in which I can live and operate within than one in which I have this like weird, vacuous idea of like, oh, I'm free though. I'm free, although I'm enslaved to this corporation and discriminated against, Like to me, it's like there's utility to that. Negative freedom would be like I get kidnapped and they starve, and external sources keeping me hungry. Wait, negative freedom would be like I get kidnapped and they starve. Hold on, there's a lot more here. Let me get you the graph. This. A positive freedom would be like I go to Subway but have $0 in my account to buy food, so I'm starving because of myself. Do you think a negative freedom should be sacrificed to achieve positive freedom? Yes. I think so. I think negative freedom in a lot of cases is good. I like that sometimes. Like a negative freedom of like, in a lot of ways, negative freedom is useful, right? Like I think the idea of being free and uncoerced, and those things are good. I advocate for those things insofar that they don't inhibit another's ability to exist in the society. So my examples, right? I think this is exactly when positive freedom should supersede negative freedom, is when, if you're applying for a job and they have a sign that says blacks need not apply, right? This is a thing that happened in America. And we enforced a positive freedom in that you can't do that. That inhibits my negative freedom to do so. But in doing so, it just drastically improves everybody's ability to live in society. I think in those cases it's absolutely okay. But that's not to say negative freedom is bad. Those are good things. People should be free to be themselves and do their thing, I'd say. Do you agree with the harm principle then? That people should be free to do whatever they want unless their liberty results in the harm of others? Kind of. Because the problem with that is harm to others is a really difficult thing to pin down, right? Right? Like Republicans might say something like, I agree with that, but it is harm to others. It is harm to our society to have people on drugs, right? This idea that you could sort of attribute harm or these negative things to something that is really only harming the individual. So like, I think drugs is a decent example for this, right? Like, you're only harming yourself if you're hooked on heroin. But I think that that's not, I think you should be able to, probably be able to do so. Well, should you? I don't know. That's actually really tricky for me because I think that that's a net negative. I guess personally, I think what's important is making sure that people are truly free to make that decision. And what I mean by that is like, they don't, like if you really wanted to get hooked on heroin, you should be able to do so, but you should also be fully aware that it's going to fuck your life. You should be fully aware of you have other options. You could smoke weed. You can not do drugs. There are resources to get you off of heroin. Bada bada ba. I just think like, I think it should be very clear to you. Like, I don't know. Yeah. If so, one is left to question what is harm. Yeah, totally. That's the big question, isn't it? And what can be punishable harm, such as your liberties being taken away as a result. Yeah, I mean, for me, like, I think it's fine to let people do what they want and have democracy do its thing. I think there are problems with it. I think, hot take, democracy isn't perfect. And our system isn't perfect. It leads to a lot of shitty, weird circumstances. Like the ability to let people go out and ruin their lives. Well, I think they shouldn't be able to. I think they shouldn't do that. I think it's probably better to let them have the freedom to do so and treat them on the back end than the other way around, if that makes any sense. Like, I think it's better for us as a society to let them do so and then figure out what we're going to do about it later, you know? This seems biased against classical liberalism. No, I don't think so. Right? Like, if you're a classical liberal, you don't. I mean, and this is like the Dave Rubin types who claim they're classical liberals. They do want minimal state. They want total freedoms, and they want, negative freedoms, maximize utility. Yep, totally. I think the egotistical maybe feels a little strange, but like, honestly, I don't know the difference between egotistical individualism and developmental individualism. But free market economy, listen, I like free markets, okay? Markets are good, but markets only work in that they have all of the things that equip them to work. Not every market is a good market. So like, I'm a little bit on the fence here. Rights-based justice as fairness. Yeah, this doesn't seem biased at all. I think classical liberalism in theory is based as fuck. And I like it. But I dip my toe into modern liberalism, I think, when it's required. Like, I think in theory this is good, right? Also, yeah, cradle to grave welfare. Not about that, I don't think. I mean, well, actually, you know what? I like welfare states. I think they're fine. But this seems like a weird way to phrase it, I guess. But I'm totally like a social responsibility kind of person. Like, I believe in civic duty. I believe in like the ability for people. It is okay. What's super frustrating to me is like all these conservatives talk about how they love, you know, their country and they love, but when the rubber meets the road and it's like, oh, you have to care for your fellow Americans, it's like, I don't really love my country that much. I don't know. Civic duty is super important. The country is by the people and for the people. Damn it. Get your ass out there and like, I don't know, have some level of like social responsibility. Christ. Okay, sorry. This is cool. This is interesting. Thank you for sharing this, Con. I think this video is over.
Something up for you,
right?
Like so many others are doing. In fact, a lot of the theories that are coming out of this speculation are simply throwing up more questions that don't have answers. All I can do is check some of the claims that are bouncing around the internet.
Sargon.
Bull crap. It helps. Asking lots of questions and then speculating and offering opinion is fine if you enjoy that kind of thing, but I'd rather not join the pack.
Love it.
Of course, we do need to know where the virus came from.
Yep.
But a definitive answer will only come from solid evidence, not misquotes, changed documents, fake dossiers, exaggerations, fabrications, misrepresentations, and magical facts dreamed up in published papers that don't exist.
Got 'em.
It won't come from circumstantial evidence, suspicions, guesswork, or possibilities either, unless and until the questions thrown up by this speculation are themselves answered. But of course, that's not going to stop people pointlessly speculating. These pundits always love to put quotes alongside their speculation to give it some kind of intellectual legitimacy. So I'm going to leave you with the wise words of that much overlooked philosopher and 20th century intellectual giant, Ryan O'Neill.
Anything is possible, but possible don't make it true.
Wow. Anything is possible, but possible don't make it true. Got him. All right, well, I watched my video. I have to go do shit. Today's the 4th of July, all right? It's goddamn America Day, okay? Today is all about the US of A, my home country. And listen, it's shitty sometimes, but we're all about it here, okay? Today, we're all patriots. What is up with... Is this from my glasses? Yeah, I'm looking hella scuffed. I need to shower and, like, get my life together a little bit, but... let's do a quick peek. Yo, KJ. I recognize you. Welcome back. I think I said hi to you. I know you've been following a brief amount of time. I love you. Welcome. Oh, I need to check one other... I think I could do it here. Oh, God, I almost fucking leaked.
Quest to each of them.
Okay, Potholer. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out. Chill out. I'm chilling. Sick. Alright, this is dope. This is dope as fuck, dude. Alright, listen. We're figuring out streaming again. I'm gonna stream for more time, and maybe I'm gonna try and, like, do more debate shit. Here's the thing. I am mostly interested right now in... like politics stuff. I think gaming, you know what? Gaming's a thing of the past. I'm a grown-ass man. Listen, I love video games. But I'm really interested in this, like, arguing with people thing or, like, trying to talk about politics thing. So I'm going to keep doing that for a while until I figure out exactly how I want to do it. Right now... we're just going to end the stream. It's going to be a brief one. Get out there. Go enjoy America today. I don't know. Hang out with your family or something. And with that, I'll see you guys soon. Maybe tonight. Probably not, but maybe. And God bless America.